Alright guys, welcome back to this all new tutorial video about modeling a sci-fi ship. This time we are going to model the sci-fi ship Covenant from the Alien movie Alien Covenant. So just a little disclaimer for this video, I have to respoke again the audio of this video and the next 2 or 3 videos because I just mixed up something in the settings, and if you just notice some asynchronity on that what I just speaking and what I'm doing, so that's because I just have to respoke the whole thing again. Alright, so what you can see here is actual progress. So this project is still under construction, I would say, and with all said, we can just jump right into it. We're going to start with the modeling process. We have just to adjust a little bit our viewport here. So I deleted the camera and the sun, we don't need that for now. And the other thing I just want to change is up here on the shading, go to matte cap and the clay matte cap. It's the same thing I'm doing in every tutorial video. Then we have just to activate here the cavity with type of both. So just for explanation, if you're just watching here this corner, so if I'm going to deactivate that, you don't see this highlighted corner. And if I just going into the edit mode here in this cube, just insert that, and then we're going to just extrude it inside like that. So you actually see here is something, but in this way you don't see that. If you activate cavity, you can see this right through. With both, you see it a little bit better than screen. On screen you don't see it, on Word you see it a little bit, but I like the type both. Good, so done that. Next thing we have just to activate here on this viewport gizmo, the remove gizmo. And another thing I just want to activate is up here on the snapping tool, the vertex snapping, and that's it. So I'm going just to undo this quick. Oh, I'm going to delete this. So we're going to start right with a new cube here. So to start with, first of all, I go into the top view here, into the edit mode, and just put it aside like that. So we have a little bit of a space here. And then we have just to activate our mirror modifier. So we have it on the other side. So maybe make it a little closer. And then we're going to put that in here, so you can just activate the y-axis here, and we have here the same thing on all axes. So now we have just to make some 6 corners of this cube here. To do that, in edit mode, just rotate it by 45 degrees. Now we have just to select here, let me see, some edges, so maybe this 2. Then we have just to bevel that with Command B, so like that. And it's very important that we just stretching that a little bit outside. So we have these 4 corners here. To make sure we have the same length on all edges, so you can just go to this button here. And if you activate edge length, you see we have here our actually length of the edge. So we can just see here we have 1.48, if I can see it right. And here we have 1.1. 1.48, so we can just adjust that a little bit better. So we go up with that, maybe on 1.4, we go down with that. So maybe like that. And now we should have on all 4 our exact same length of the edge here. So let's see if we just can go here to 1.4, and we should be good now. And here the same thing. Alright, so we have the same length on all of our edges. So we're going to deselect that again. To close a little bit the gap here, it's a little bit too big, so make it like that. And we have just to duplicate this here. We're going to put it right here in the middle. And on that we have just to separate by selection, so P separate by selection. Go here into the select here this selection, delete one axis here, the y-axis we don't need that, we need only the x-axis, and that's it. Now we have to create here some bridge, I would say. To do that we have just to add another cube here. So add cube. Oh, we have just to add it in the middle, in the world space middle. So add cube here. We have to make that a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. And we are going to delete one side. So we can just add a mirror modifier on that. And now we can just select here these 4 vertices, select one of them, make that active. If you can't see it right in this way, so the gizmo is on this point, go here to active element, and then you can just extrude that, cancel extrusion, and rotate that by 45 degrees. So now we have just to do fairly the same thing, but we have to go here to medium point again, and we can just go to, let me see, if we use here normal, you can just extrude that down. So we have this type of a bridge here. We're going to delete the vertices that are overlapping. We have 2 of them, and now I just want that sharp here, so just slide that up, and you have your bridge. That's looking good. So we have to go back to global, scale on the y-axis, make that a little bit smaller, and we are good to go here. So I just want to make it smaller again. So we can just put on the other side here another one, but I think it's still too big, so we have just to make it like that. Alright, so I'm going to select all, just mirror that on the other side, so just drag it on the other side. And I think we are here a little bit too small because we need that here a little bit bigger. So I'm going to select these 2, and we are going to make that bigger with individual origin. And it's looking a little bit better. Alright, we are going to put these bridges here on the other 2, but first I have just to make a little bit more adjustments here. Alright, looking better. I'm going to select all of them. I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to put them here. So now we have just to make this here a little bit smaller. So just select here the bottom part, put that up. And I just want something here just to blocking out. So I'm going to add another cube into the edit mode. Obviously we have just to delete one side. Oops, we have just to add here the mirror modifier. And with that, just put that in this area. So that's totally fine. We are going to add here another mirror modifier. So we don't add another one. We are going to activate the z-axis. So you have the bottom part, and we have to do here the same thing, and on this here the same thing. Oh, here you have the problem. We can't really do that because we are not right in the middle of the word with the point here, with the geometry center. So you have just to redo that. If you don't have your gizmo here in the middle, just press Shift S, cursor to word origin, and now you can just put the origin to 3D cursor, and you're right in the right spot here. Okay, that's looking good. So, oh, we have just to put obviously on the other one here the same thing. So I'm going just to duplicate that, put that here. And the same thing here. Don't worry about the size and the other thing, it's just for blocking out for the moment. But it's looking fine. So I'm going to activate here clipping, so we can just close that, delete the faces inside. So we have this big cube here. So now we have just to add, let me see, cylinder here, 64 vertices, rotate by 90 degrees. And this here will be our bridge to the other side of the ship. So we're going to put that first of all here in the front so we see what they are doing. So actually I need 3 of them, so I just put that up here. Make sure you're just right here in the middle. So with this transform pivot point, go to 3D cursor. Now you can just duplicate that, escape the duplication, and then you can just rotate that in this way. And obviously we have just to do it again, so duplicate that, rotate it by 100 and let's see, 175, it's too low. Or maybe we are going to mirror it on the other side, so just scale x -1 and we are good to go here. So maybe we have just rotated a little bit more, so like that. So we can take the front here, go back to medium point. Now we can just put it a little bit outside. And I'm going to steal here this cylinder. So just take that, put it right here in the middle, make it a little bit bigger. But we have to make it smaller, obviously. And we can put it right into here. So it's a type of, I don't know, something holding the rest of the area here, but it's good as a blocking out. So then we have just to duplicate that, because we are going to make on this side another one. So further the same thing. We're going to steal here this again. But this time I'm going to make that a little bit smaller and put it on the side here. So we have just put that here. We're going to select this two, duplicate that, put it on the bottom. So it's just blocking out. Just remember, we do not do some high detailing now. It's just the blocking out we are going to do. And for now it's totally fine if you leave it like that. So in the middle here we need another one. I'm going to link that. We're going to put that right into the middle. Going to make that bigger. And we are fine here. Alright, so then we have here the front part. So for the front we are going just to add another cube. So I'm going to add here a cube. We're going to select that, put it in here. We're going to delete one side as always. Oops, one side. Add a mirror modifier. And now we can just make an interesting shape. We're going to make that a little bit bigger. And with that, we have just to select here the front. So going to the side view. And with that, just bevel that. But we can just bevel with the mouse wheel a little bit more. So we have maybe 10 segments here. So that's looking fine. So don't forget to go a little bit up here, a little bit higher. So maybe in that way. We have just to select here the back and make that a little bit bigger. So we have to select that on the front here. So we only need here this bending. So for the front here, I'm going to just slide that down. So we actually don't need that, and it's a waste of vertices. Oh, we have just to activate here the vertex snapping. Now we can just snap on this point. And for the side here, just select these two edges here and bevel that with 0 segments. So let's create some detail here on the side. So to do that, we have just to add another cube here. We're going to put that right here for now. I'm going to delete. No, I do not delete 1/2. That's important. We have just to add a mirror modifier on that. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger because it's too small. Like that. I'm going to just rotate it by 45 degrees. we have to select here this point. I'm going just to bevel that just a little bit. Now you can select the rest here, select all, put it a little bit bigger, a little bit closer here to the middle point. Now we can just drag it aside, make it a little bit smaller on the z-axis, and it's looking already cool, but we have just to bevel here this edge. So let's see, I think we have just to make it a little bit bigger here. So like that. Alright, it's looking cool. So go to the top view, select here the back part, make it a little bit bigger because you have to make here some cut. So we do the same thing on this here, just put it on this area. So to do the cut, we have just to use the knife tool, so press K. Down here you have all the options. We need only the cut through, so C, and angle constraint. If I'm just pressing here, so as you can see, we can just cut. I'm going to activate the A option, so we are going to angle constraint it. And I'm going to activate the C option, so we're going to cut all the way through. But I just want to make the cut here. So to do that, we have just to figure out the way we want to. So I think here we are good. I'm going to activate angle constraint here. Now we have to go a little bit more on the bottom side, and here we are good. Activate C, cut through, and we have this cut here all the way through. So I think the cut is a little bit too much. I'm going to undo that quick, and we are going to make it maybe in this way. So we can just delete this side here, and we have this cut going on this object. I'm going just to close that for now. So we can take these two faces, put that all the way back in this area. And here we are good to go. Alright, it's looking already good. So the next thing we have to do is we are just going to add some thruster here. So for that, I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. Go into the front view, make sure you're right in the middle, add a cylinder, 64 vertices is enough. So you can just rotate that by 90 degrees, and we can just put that all the way back. So I'm going to put that on the side. We're going to add a mirror modifier on that. And I think we can put it here. So let's see what we can do here. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to just select one side, so 1/2 of that, and we're going just to scale that on the axis. So drag it on the axis outside. Make sure you're just all the way straight here. So I don't know if you can see it, we are just slightly bent here. To prevent this, I'm going to undo this quick. So you can just select here this middle points, bevel that, so we have two of them, and now I can just select that, drag it outside, and we should be here totally straight now. Alright, with that you can go into the top view here, just put it like maybe a little bit inside. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger here, or maybe let's keep it in this way. So then we are going just to make this here active. Go to active element, go to the side view, extrude that, cancel extrusion, rotate that. So like that, and now you can extrude it again. So we have this type of bending here. Same thing here. First of all, we're going to delete by distance. Now we can just select that and just drag it on top to the other one. So we have this type of, yeah. So let's see, maybe we can just make that, yeah, we can make that smaller. So a little bit better here. But we have just to exclude the x-axis, so press S Shift X. Now we can just make it smaller, except for the x-axis here. It's looking a little bit better. So after that we have just to make it here a little bit smaller, just scale it on the x-axis like that. And so first of all we have to see how it's looking with smoothed edges. So I'm going to shade it smooth, and we have just to add here on the normals this smooth by angle. And we already see we have here some problems with our edges, so maybe we are going to just make it a little bit more here, but we can't go really inside of that because we are just closing that totally up, and I don't want that. So we are going to keep that, but I just want all the things here just to be sharp. So select here this edge, this loop cut, press Command E, go to mark sharp, and you have it now in here. So we have to take this face. I just want this here as active, and now we have just to extrude it, make the same thing, rotate that just in this way, maybe just put it down. I go back to medium point so we can just scale it a little bit down, so like that, and that's totally fine here. So let's see, maybe we are going to add here the same thing, Command E, mark sharp, but I just want here another thing. I'm going to undo this quick. I just want to bevel that, but let me think a second. Maybe we're going to select that, put it on top here, and I just want to, I'm going to undo this quick because I want to make another thing. So I'm going to select all by distance, and I'm going to select here this face. I'm going to bevel that, but we have just to bevel it quite a lot. So like that. So I have this closing edge here, but you see we have a problem. So just select that, or maybe I'm going to do this another time too. So let's see, we have to delete these edges here because they are too close to our object. So now we can select that, bevel it. So I think so this way we are good. So now we have to put this object on top of that. So go into the side view, in the front view, select that, make it a little bit smaller so it's fitting on top of that. You can just rotate that and just put it in here. But I think I have done it in the wrong way, so we have just to mirror that. To do that, just press SY-1. So we have it here in this way. It's a little bit better. And it's fitting already good on top of that, but the bending here is a little bit too much, so I just go a little bit up with that. So just want to see a little bit of this detail here. So maybe we're going to rotate that too. So we have a little bit more of this detail here. Alright, you see we have some difference in the shading here. We have just to select all, press the space bar and type in recalculate outside. Now we have our shading in the right way. So we can just mirror this object on all our sides. So add a mirror modifier. So generate mirror modifier. And we need it on all 4 sides. So we're going to activate the Z-axis too. So we have it in here. Perfect. So I just want to make a little bit more adjustments here. I don't like the spacing, so we have to make that a little bit bigger. So I'm going to scale that on the Z-axis. So like that. You have to adjust this here another time. So like that, we're good. And I think we can just leave it like that.